Greetings and welcome to In-Depth. I'm Dike Rostant. The Filmmakers Collaborative of Trinidad and Tobago will be teaming up to support this year's European Film Festival. It is the first time following the pandemic that the festival will be in person. Joining us, though not in person today, is His Excellency Peter Cavendish, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary, Delegation of the European Union. And with that, we welcome you, Ambassador Cavendish. I want to ask, though, for an overview in terms of when did the European Film Festival begin, and what are some of the key objectives?
Well, in this country, the European Film Festival has been running for 27 years. It's a bit of a coincidence because we have 27 European Union member states. The objectives for this are to increase awareness of culture, understanding, promote common values, common aspects in our culture, but also the differences between our cultures. Just as in this country, people can go to Europe without a visa with a Schengen passport, under the Schengen scheme with a valid passport. This is a way to virtually visit Europe. And I'm very pleased that this year we have 15 countries which have put forward 23 films. And I would like to mention that we not only bring European films for the people of Trinidad and Tobago to enjoy, we bring European finance films which may be based in countries outside of Europe. So this year you're getting Brazil, China, Morocco, and even Afghanistan. These are film offerings we would wish to put in front of the film-going public here in Trinidad and Tobago.
And what goes into selecting these films that are going to be screened? What are some of the criteria that you're looking for? You said that is actually outside Europe specifically. So give us an idea into the thought process. Thank you.
Well, indeed, it's a very good question. Indeed, there are many commonalities in what we're looking for. Films that are topical, films that examine the human condition, films that deal with the environment, with social change, with discrimination, with migration, human rights, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual human rights. All of these areas that are topical, that are debated, and the films come forward and they're reviewed in a process where quality is taken into account, social relevance is taken into account. These are the factors to seek basically the best quality product for the issue to put in front of the public. So that's what they are arrived upon. We want things that are thought-provoking, that are a bit funny, that are a bit romantic, but obviously a bit controversial as well.
Now, I see you speak about 27 years in Trinidad and Tobago specifically. So I want to ask the question, are there other hosts for the EFF? What are some of the other places that this takes place?
Well, we're going to host this from the 10th to the 19th of May at UTT's John Donaldson campus and at the Academy for the Performing Arts, also UTT. I have to mention that we have in the past given $500,000 TT dollars to an animation lab at the John Donaldson campus. The main event will be at NALIS from the 10th, 14th, 15th. And NALIS will be, of course, it's the National Library for the country. It's a very prestigious and very accessible location. So we will be having the events, as I said, at NALIS, at UTT, at 2 venues. Particularly, I wish to underline that we will have events for schools. There will be school screenings twice a day at NALIS and at the John Donaldson campus. For people who are interested for school screenings, obviously we wish to bring the children, the young people in the most organized way. If they go onto the European Film Festival website, they will see all the details, the contact names, the telephone numbers of who to contact to organize a school visit to these events. I must mention that these events are being co-hosted, co-funded, co-organized with the Dutch, the French, and the German embassies, and the Spanish. And in that context, it's these major embassies representing a little bit less than half the population of Europe that come forward to us to assist us with managing this event.
And in terms of the feeling, what is it like saying, okay, well, yes, we're going to be in person again, and we're actually going to be underlining the fact that there's so many school screenings that are possible, but the fact that it's able to happen in person again, how does that have you feeling?
Well, it's just delightful. Didn't we all love those days when you could sit in a cinema with a bag of popcorn and maybe a friend to the right or to the left of you? You discuss what you're going to see, and then afterwards maybe you go and have a coffee or something else and discuss it again. I mean, the cinema going experience is the person to person with the screen. It's something more than just watching something remotely. Every last one of us wants that moment in the dark when the lights go down and the show starts.
And speaking of stakeholders, how much work was it to make sure, okay, well, these things are going to take place, they're going to be at Nallis, they're going to be at John Donaldson or John D, as some of us still remember it fondly. What was that process like, and who are some of the other stakeholders on the ground, many times not seen, to help this go through?
Well, we have to extend a lot of thanks to the collaboration we've received, including from state actors that help us with the putting up of this. We've had, of course, the excellent contact from now, as you've mentioned, UTT, the Filmmakers Collaborative of Trinidad and Tobago, which manages the Trinidad and Tobago Film Festival, TTFF, are helping us this year. It's the first time to work with them on this. And these are the type of actors we need to get the thing to in an even better, richer, deeper way going forward. So we've got the authorities that helped us, we've got the academic bodies that helped us, the National Library have helped us, and the Filmmakers Collaborative have helped us.
And I think we're actually going to give a little bit of the trailer before we go to break, where we are speaking with the Ambassador Peter Cavendish about the European Film Festival. Stay with us, we'll return with more. Welcome back. We are speaking with a European Union Ambassador, His Excellency Peter Cavendish, and we're actually talking about the European Film Festival 2023 back in person. And Ambassador, what determines, in terms of the school screenings, I want to focus on that a little bit. Is it that schools or groupings can request a specific film to be part of? How is that like? And is also, he said it's 2 per day?
Yes, it's 2 screenings per day. In fact, we make an offer to the schools, and in this case, it's a French film. There will be subtitles for all of the films, but obviously for young people, we are the paradigm for what we would accept is more reduced. Clearly, we don't want to be shocking or upsetting young people, and in this case, we have a film in French. It's about a dysfunctional family. Of course, not everybody comes from a fully functional family, and we think it might be insightful for children to see another culture's take on a dysfunctional family. The school screenings, as I've said, please go to the European Film Festival website to see the contact person there, because obviously we would like to accommodate the children, the young people in the best way possible. I take the opportunity also to mention that there'll be a special side event on the 18th of May. This is open to young people and adults, and this will be at the UTT Academy for Performing Arts, and the topic's going to be the environment and climate change. Now, clearly, everybody is very sensitized to the issues. They're all aware about global climate change, and we want to have with the side event, we're hoping that young people and adults will be more animated to change their behavioral patterns, to change the patterns of others, and to consider how best we're going to have to adapt to the events that are unfolding. I would like to underline that the environment also seems to crop up as a recurring theme throughout many of the films that are going to be on display. Concerns about water loss, concerns about environmental change. So it is more than a topical issue. It's one of the biggest issues of our time, and it's not going to go away. It's going to be there for many years. We will have a side event in UTT, APA, on the 18th of May for young people and adults to come along.
And that makes me wonder, in terms of entire film festival, Ambassador, are there specific individuals that you're trying to reach? Are there specific individuals that you want to visit these screenings? Because there's students, young adults, things are happening at tertiary campuses, there's the Nallis Library. So is there an ideal person that you're looking for?
Somebody who's open-minded is the best. Somebody who's willing to, consider other cultures to begin with. Anybody who chooses to go to these film festivals, it's a certain type of person, a part of the population that's really open to other influences. Maybe they don't accept them, maybe they reject them, but they're willing to look at them. And here in this country, where the 5 continents meet, with the gigantic, rich, deep cultural heritage that you have, I think that exposure to, what the 27 European Union states have, plus I've mentioned Brazil, Afghanistan, China and Morocco, I think it's a very unusual collection. We could use the word perhaps cornucopia of wealth, of talent that will be on display. And we're here in a country that's really very gifted, very talented in all of the fields, be it music, art, dance. So I want open-minded people to go. I would encourage people, go with grandma, bring in the older generation. Just because people are of a certain age doesn't mean they're necessarily not closed to new ideas. But make it a family event, make it a school event, make it a romantic couple event. I mean, there's something there for everybody. This is a very, very good offer. And as I said, it's in person. I also want to underline that it's free. There's no charge involved. You'll have to pay for your own popcorn, of course. And for the school groups, they do need to check in with the school coordinator on the European Film Festival website. But please bring the open-minded, the warm-hearted, the people who want to socialize and interact. These are the type of people we want.
And I always like the opportunity to have intergenerational conversations, because there's this wealth of ideas and feelings and energies that can pass, especially when there's the opportunity to not necessarily say, okay, well, one person is speaking to another about their specific circumstance within their circle, as opposed to something that you're seeing on the stage, which allows for the ability to do that, to have those conversations and look at those issues when it is made directly related to you, or it might be the premise, the jump-off point to start this conversation that you may have not known how to. But you talk about the wealth of talent. You talk about the breadth of the movies, or the films rather, that are going to be screened. Do you have a favorite? Is there one that really piqued your interest? And this is just outside of looking at the topics of the day currently. Which one appealed to you? Is there something to share with us?
Well, I have to be very careful, because as a diplomat, I can't be seen to favoring one nation's film over another. But I'm very pleased you mentioned the generational gap, because I personally, perhaps it's my age in life, and I'd like to see the 3rd generation in front of me, but my children have to take their time. But I think we do have a movie with a grandfather and a young boy. I think there you have intergenerational. Anything with young people is particularly nice for me. I love to see young people's take on the world. I'm very happy to say there is a movie where there is children who act as detectives. I can't spoil the plot for anybody, but the children do a good job. And I think movies with, I'm a sucker for young people and human stories. And this movie, I think in particular, when people see the offers, they will see which one I'm talking to, but let them make their own mind up. I do think anything with young people, innovative, forward-looking, culturally and time-wise relevant, this is the type of thing that speaks to me.
The epitome of political correctness. All right, very well done, Ambassador. But looking forward though, and also let me underline the fact once more that it is free. As the Ambassador said, you need to pay for your popcorn. But what are some of those parameters that go into saying, okay, well, these are things that we're going to use? Are they all made the year before? I know you spoke about the selection criteria a little bit, but is it that they're made the year before or very close to the time that the festival?
Well, very good question. In fact, it's an iterative, it's a living process. They're constantly looking at what they're doing and how to improve. So even after this festival is finished, they'll be considering, what do we do right, what do we do wrong, what do we do better, and what we're going to do for next year. So I'm very pleased to say that we have an iterative, a living process, which allows us to, keep the thing relevant, dynamic, and living, close to the social issues of the day, close to the worries and concerns of people of the day. So it's an iterative process which really never stops. These people who are in the arts, they don't just switch on once a year. These people are living their life. The filmmakers, they live their lives thinking about concept, form, spatial awareness, the messages they want to pass. But you can clearly see over the years how the thing has evolved with that. Now more and more environmental concerns have come through, much more concern about social anxiety, family breakdown, dysfunctional families. Certainly from when I was a young person, when we never locked the doors in our house, to what we have today, society seems to have a lot more stress in it. And I think that's reflected in the films that we see and in the plots and the concerns that ordinary people have. And I think there is sort of a global village more and more, and these films reflect the global village's concerns.
And final question before we go, Ambassador, what sort of precedent, and I like the fact that you talk about this living process, what sort of precedent thus far does doing work engaging with the local film festival body kind of augur for moving forward? Because sometimes people try to reinvent the wheel or use two separate ones in parallel. Does this help the job of the European Film Festival any?
Definitely, I think it's going to be a great. I don't really like the term cross-fertilization, but it's the one that people use. I think there will be some cross-fertilization between Trini talent, between the colleagues we have, between the movies we have. I look forward well, to be frank, I would like to do this film festival in many more locations around the country, but sadly we have an issue with credits. Nonetheless, we have 3 credits in terms of money, but we have 3 locations. We have excellent people in the Filmmakers Collaborative, and who knows what can happen in the future. I would like to take this to more locations, have more parties involved. But the local element for us is essential. We have to have the local third-party contacts coming and telling us also what we did wrong, what we did right, how we can do it better. We can't just look at ourselves and judge our own performance. It's the people we collaborate with, the people we work with, and ultimately the viewing public that goes to the cinemas to see the films. These are the people, who are going to, tell us what to do better next time. There will be the usual thing in the social media, as people can give their comments about us, and that's something we will look at.
All right, and so we're very happy that we're able to ask that, and also your answer provided some of the things that you're going to be looking forward with. Pleasure speaking with you as always, His Excellency Peter Cavendish, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary, Delegation of the European Union, reminding you that this year's European Film Festival runs from May 10 to 19, and films will be shown at NALIS, the University of Trinidad and Tobago John Donaldson, and the Academy of the Performing Arts at no cost to patrons. This has been In Depth with me, Dike Rostant. On behalf of the entire news team, thank you so much for joining us.